So, in my almost a decade journey of building businesses, I have made mistakes, I have built, and I have rebuilt. And prior to then, I had also worked in the corporates, worked in big tech, worked at Microsoft, worked across oil and gas, and I've also mentored quite a number of career professionals in different sectors, including big tech. In a number of continents, I made a lot of mistakes. I've learned, I've unlearned things, and I've relearned. And I'm telling you this because you don't have to repeat the mistakes that I have made in my journey and the mistakes that the other people that I have interacted with have made in their journey. I want to ask you a very important question, and I want you to be honest with yourself in your response. If you step away from your business for the next 2 weeks, God forbid you fall ill, or something drastic happens to you, or something happens to you, and for the next 2 weeks, you are not available in your business, I want to ask you, what do you think your business is going to look like? Do you think things are going to function normally and run without you? Or would a lot of things be altered simply because you are not around? If your answer is that things are going to be altered because you are not around, I have a bit of a not so nice news for you, is that you are not a business owner. You are at the level of being self-employed. You are just self-employed and not a business owner. There's a clear difference between being self-employed and being a business owner. So in essence, what you're saying, if things cannot run without you, if you don't show up for 2 weeks, is that you are working a job, but just that this job that you are working on was created by you. If you are a business owner, things should be able to run with or without your physical presence in the business. So let me ask you right now, are there things that are always waiting for your approval? Right now, if you delegate things to people, would they do it properly? Right now, how often do you go on holidays? Or if you go on holidays, will things remain smooth in your business? How often do people wait for things for you to approve? Everything. You already approved the payments, you approved the reports, you approve. How often do people have to wait for you to approve things before it goes out? To give you an example, early days in my business, there were times that I would be driving and I'll get calls, I will get an email while driving, I'll get a voice note, I'll get a message, and in the middle of the road, I'll park my car, I'll bring out my laptop, and I would start working. I was self-employed at that time. You know the interesting thing? At that time, I already had maybe like 5 staff that we hired and we pay salaries. But guess what? I was doing all their work. You know why? Because if I delegated to them, they weren't going to do it well. I was still going to come back and correct the work. If that is your story, if that is your situation, then you're still battling with self-employment. And you need to upgrade on that. You need to improve on that for there to be the growth that you desire. So I always say this thing, that the very first person that is responsible for whatever it is that is going on in the business is the entrepreneur. So I would say, look at yourself in the mirror. You are the one who is responsible for whatever is going right or for whatever is going wrong in your business. Remember, I spoke about how we lost 8.5 million naira in a business size due to the negligence of a particular staff. Guess what? I didn't fire that staff. Because while I was angry that that particular thing happened, the question I asked myself was there a time that I ever prepared my staff for the scenario they found themselves that led to them losing 8.5 million naira? And the clear question was, I never did. Meaning that at that point, I was being reactive. I wasn't proactive. What I did was to take full responsibility for all of that. And we began our whole journey. Interestingly, that staff who lost 8.5 million naira is still within the business today. And she is a team lead and she's doing amazingly well. Wins awards every other time now within the business. What has changed? Because we have been able to design a system that helps people to perform better, and then that also helps to retain them. So right about now also, your staff are getting videos, they're getting trainings, they're getting learnings on how to improve their mindsets. They are getting learnings on how to take ownership within your business. They are being taught how to be excellent. And we would need your cooperation as the employer and as an entrepreneur if we are going to succeed on this journey. The good news is that even if you are self-employed right now, we can make the transition from being self-employed to being a business owner and to growing your business. But that is not going to happen by accident. Everything that will happen in your business, every good thing, every growth that you're going to achieve in this business will come as a result of you being very deliberate about the results and the outcomes that you want. I'm going to leave you with an action point. So I want you to do two things right now. One, ask yourself a question. The first question: if you take a break for the next 2 weeks within your business, will something break? Are there things that will stall because you have taken a break? And then the next thing I want you to do, so you know your answer, if it's a yes or if it's a no. The next thing I want you to do is to write 3 things right now that will be stalled if you take a break for 2 weeks in your business. Write down those 3 things. Please don't postpone this exercise. Write it down. And then the question I want to ask you, which of those 3 things can you delegate to someone on your team? Or is there any of those 3 things that you can document a process for? The journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. And I want you to take this little step and get started. Till I see you again in my next video.